In this tutorial, we will solve equations by distributing and combining like terms. These will be integers only, no fractions. So the 4 steps to solving a multi-step equation is to first distribute the value that is outside or touching the parentheses to every single term inside the parentheses. Step 2 is to combine like terms only if they are on the same side of the equal sign. Step 3, use addition or subtraction to move terms from one side to the other in order to combine like terms. And step 4, use multiplication or division to isolate the variable. So let's get started just by looking at 2 examples. Pause the video now and see if you can learn just by looking. Alright. Now I'm going to work through these exact 2 problems by showing you step by step. So example number 1. I see parentheses on the left-hand side. So I'm going to distribute this coefficient of -4 times only the terms, and there are 2 of them, only the terms that are inside the quantity or parentheses. Once I do that, the parentheses will disappear. -4 times 2r is -8r. -4 times +6 or +6 is -24. The remainder of my problem stays the same. Now these steps should seem familiar from when you solve 2-step equations. Clear the constant or get the constants together on the same side so you can combine them. We're going to use an inverse operation, and we're going to write it on both sides, which is our addition property of equality. That removes the constant from the left-hand side of the equation, and now I can combine these 2 numbers on the right side. So 16 plus 24 is 40. Now I'm going to use my multiplicative inverse, which would either be multiplying by -1/8, or as some of you like to show it, dividing by -8, since my coefficient is an integer. And that's how you use distributing to solve a multi-step equation. Example number 2 is going to show us how to combine like terms. Now if you notice in example number 2, I have 3 terms on the left-hand side. 2 of my terms have w's or variables in them. Notice when I circled my terms that I circled the operation. That operation belongs to this number. So therefore that becomes its sign. So if I have a 3w and a -5w, then I can combine these by performing that operation. So 3w's take away 5w's would leave me with -2w. The remainder of my terms stay the same. +6 = 30. Now I can finish solving using my inverse operations. Okay. Now we'll try using both of these properties at the same time. You can pause the video now and give them a try on your own, or you can watch as I solve 2 more equations. Example number 3. I'm going to first start on the left-hand side because I see some parentheses. Distribute only to the terms inside the parentheses. Notice the sign for my 15w. A -3 times a -5w is +15w. Now, I do see some like terms here with my w's, but they're on different sides of the equal sign. So I can't combine them together yet. I have to use an inverse operation. And it doesn't matter which of these w's I take the opposite of. It doesn't matter as long as they're on the same side together. So I prefer my variables on the left, so I'm going to choose to take the opposite of 6w. Here, negative 6w, the opposite is positive 6w. And now I'm going to move my constant to the right. That wasn't so bad. Now let's combine everything all together in one problem. Distributing on the left and distributing on the right. Now the most you can have on any side of an equal sign is two terms, a constant term and a variable term. So for us, our right-hand side has three terms, and that's a little bit too long. It means that I can combine something together. Because they're on the same side, I'm not going to do an opposite. I see a lot of kids do this, and it's very wrong. The reason for that is, the property of equality states you must do it on each side of the equal sign. And as you can see here, this is 2 times on the right-hand side. And that's not fair. So we're not actually going to perform an opposite operation. We're simply going to perform the operation we see. We're going to keep the left side the same, but on the right side we're going to shrink 6x and minus 4x down into 2x. And now, in order to combine my x's, since they're on different sides of the equal sign, I need to use an opposite operation, an inverse. And it doesn't matter whether I do this or whether I do this. The choice is mine. I happen to prefer my variables on the left, so I'm going to cancel my 2x out on the right. Now I'm going to move my constants together. Here I'm going to move my constants by using an additive inverse. And then next I'm going to remove my coefficient by using a multiplicative inverse. Now I'm going to reduce my fraction, negative 40 over 6. But I'm not going to change it to a mixed number, and I'm definitely not going to change it to a repeating decimal. If I want to use this value to plug in as a check step, I can't do any math with a number that goes on forever and ever. Together? So now I'd like you to try these 7 on your own. Please pause the video now. Okay, let's take a look and see how you did. Here are the 7 solutions. Pause the video to check your answers. If you got any wrong, continue watching the video to see the worked out solutions. Please pause the video if you need to look more closely. Again, pause the video if you need to look more closely at each step. And then the final question, how did you do? Great job.